Hello, welcome. My name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm really glad you're here because I have two books that I'm going to tease you about. Hopefully you'll be interested enough to give them a read. If you're at all interested in me doing a full deep dive on any of these, please let me know in the comments below. If you're interested at all, join me for the ride. First book I have to talk to you about today is A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. This story is of a nice Mormon man named Soren who lived his life according to the tenets of his religion, but when he dies, he finds out that the Mormons were not right. They were not right about the universe. A very small religion that barely survived is correct about God, so very few people are going to make it to their versions of heaven. Instead, they end up in one of many different purgatory/hell dimensions. The being that meets him after his death tells him that no, Mormonism was not correct. He tells him he's going to have to go to a place that he may eventually get out of, but not anytime soon. The being looks at the man's life and decides the best place for him is the library. The library he's sent to is modeled after the Library of Babel. Now, the Library of Babel is a vast library that contains every version possible, ordering the 25 basic characters, 22 letters, period, comma, and space, to create different books. Each book is the exact same length. Somewhere inside this library is the story of your life, and you must find this book to be able to leave the library. The library is constructed like a tower. The middle section is open and seems to go on forever in either direction, up and down. The bookshelves are on the floors surrounding that empty space in the middle. Each floor is connected by stairs, and they are provided with whatever food, sleep, things that they need. Now, while he's searching the bookshelves, he sees that some people fall past him in that empty space. They'll just go flying past. What are those people doing? His time there stretches far, far beyond any time he spent on Earth. The people in the library celebrate when they find an actual word in a book, and the joyousness at finding a whole sentence is beyond. But Soren's disappointed because he realizes how far he is from his goal. We've only ever found one sentence, and he's been searching for so long. This book left me with big philosophical thoughts and ideas and questions, and yeah, this one made me go, oh, wacky. And this is also on lists of really disturbing books. This is one that will show up quite often. Now, the other book I have for it to tease you today is not quite as well known, but I think it is so creepy and so good and so disturbing. So it's called Nothing But the Rain by Naomi Salman. Now, this is the story of a small town called Allowsville and a woman who lives there by the name of Laverne. She's in her 50s, she's menopausal, and her town has been cut off for the rest of the world. And that is because of the rain. There is a rain that is falling, and if any of it gets onto you, you forget. If it's just a small amount of rain, you may just forget where you were heading or where you left your keys. But if you get really, really wet, you could end up forgetting who you are altogether. People in the town have died from forgetting to drink water or forgetting to eat. Plenty of food in the kitchen, and yet they would forget that they were supposed to eat, so they died. Now, Laverne has a very healthy amount of fear. Okay? She isn't willing to risk losing herself and therefore stays in her house for the most part. She writes in a journal so that she can be sure not to forget things or have a way of remembering if she does forget. Now, there's a younger woman in town in the neighborhood who is trying to convince her to come be with the rest of the people. This is where the idea of being cautious versus being courageous comes from, because this young woman is willing to leave her house and come to Laverne's house, which means she's chancing getting wet, just to get Laverne to come be with the rest of the town. And Laverne is like, no way, I'm leaving here. Are you insane? So that's the cautious versus the courageous. And in most stories would ultimately send the message that being courageous is better. But yeah, not so much in this story. It's Laverne's caution that keeps her alive and well for so long. This book is small but mighty. The ideas brought up are heavy and important and really, really made me think. And there were some things that happened where I was like, how could someone do that? And then later on, that same thing happens again, and it makes perfect sense, which is just a very cool way of the author is sort of making you question how you feel about things, which I thought was really, really neat. Both of these books were very thought-provoking, and I enjoyed them immensely. Again, both pretty quick reads, not very long, but a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking them out. If you're interested in me doing a full deep dive on either of these, let me know below. Otherwise, if you're still here, I'd love a thumbs up if you can spare the time. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. It's very, very helpful. Otherwise, take care of yourself. You're the only self you're going to get. And you are both precious and important. Don't forget that. I'll check you next time. Bye.